Well, here is a term that you have probably not heard much about, drunkorexia, and it is as bad as it sounds. Drunkorexia is when someone doesn't eat to offset the calories from alcohol, and it's most common among young girls in high school and college. And Dr. Greg Jantz specializes in eating disorders and treatments. You've seen this quite a bit. What is it?
Marty, drunkorexia is actually even moving into 20s and 30-year-old women. We're seeing them come for the first time. They're starving themselves. They may be borderline anorexic. In other words, their percentage of body fat's really dropped. They're skipping meals. They're trying not to eat. And then what they'll do is they'll drink. Usually what we're finding, wine is very popular, but they'll guzzle. So it's really binge drinking. And this is dangerous. And it's a trend that's increasing.
Scary. Primarily women?
Primarily women that we've seen. We've been treating eating disorders about 27 years, but this is one of the newer, I would say, frightening trends.
What would you say is most alarming about this, health-wise, the risk?
Well, health-wise, one of the things that happens, and anorexia is the #1 psychiatric diagnosis that ends up in death. So that alone is scary, but when we mix a fragile heart, we have a starving brain, you can actually put the brain asleep and a person may not wake up and may not even realize what, the cause of death.
Double trouble.
It's serious, and what we're finding is, right now 2/3 of 6th grade girls have already done some form of restrictive dieting. So some of this eating disorder behavior starts very early on. And if you're mixing it with alcohol and then you're mixing it with pills, whether the prescription drugs, abuse, you can create a real problem.
Okay, so what do we need?
Life and death.
Life and death. This certainly is. What do we need to do to watch out for this if you notice that a loved one or a friend is doing this?
Well, I think we need to know that about 80% of people who struggle with eating disorders like anorexia also have another addiction going. So it's very common. We don't believe the first thing a person says. If a person's too thin and obviously they have a problem, we always know there's probably something else going on. Prescription drugs, the wine we've talked about, or alcohol. One of the first things that you're going to do is don't let them get away with an easy answer. This is life or death. We need to know really what's going on. Sometimes it requires an intervention. You've got to get some outside help, professional help.
Okay, and what's the first step to do that?
To do that, you need to be willing to, okay, I'm going to confront this, and I'm going to need to find what we call an eating disorder expert, a person who's certified in the treatment of eating disorders, who understands other addictions can be a part of that problem.
Drunkorexia, a term that many people haven't heard of, but I'm surprised you say you're seeing it more and more often.
Yes, about 80% of our eating disorder clients.
80%?
80%.
A huge number.
Yes.
All right, Dr. Jantz, we appreciate your time informing us.